To put it simply, Dermot Gallagher is absolutely useless. Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to center around this man right here. Dermot Gallagher, ex-Premier League referee turned mouthpiece for the PGMOL on Sky Sports. You'll obviously know that Howard Webb has his own little programme that he does every month or so with Michael Owen, in which he discusses various big talking points within the world of refereeing and VAR. Well, Dermot Gallagher has his own segment on Sky Sports News every single week in which they look over certain situations, certain refereeing and VAR decisions over the course of the past weekend, talk about them, and Gallagher gives his, well, I would say gives his opinion, but he more gives a justification as to why the referee arrived at the decisions that they did. Safe to say, though, this week was no exception, and it's, again, safe to say that he's come under very heavy fire online for some of his comments that he's made in regards to certain situations that played out over the course of the weekend. In this video, we've got 4 talking points over the course of the weekend to show you, 3 from the exact same game. And we're going to be talking about what Dermot Gallagher said. We're going to be basically looking at the incidents and trying to dissect them as best that we can. But before we go any further in discussing all of that and much more, I would like to remind you to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think and feel about Sky Sports, Dermot Gallagher, the Ref Watch segments that he does, the incidents over the course of the weekend that have led to huge controversy in the Premier League, and all of that stuff I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading. So please do use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me on these topics. Would really love your insight and your opinions on them all. Right, now that that's out of the way and done with, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Dermot Gallagher, Sky Sports, Ref Watch, the incidents that have been and gone over the weekend, and much, much more. Safe to say, this weekend was incredible for the title race, incredible for the relegation battle, but overall left a lot of controversy in its wake. And in typical Sky Sports fashion, they jump on these types of controversies and they give this man a platform in which to talk about them. Now, he wasn't a great referee when he was refereeing. He's not a great talker. He's not a great expert, shall we say. And his justifications as to why he believes the referees and the VAR officials and the officials in general arrived at certain decisions haven't exactly made for great reading in the past, so it's no surprise that this week was no exception to that. Sky Sports give this man a platform in which to talk about the weekend's controversies, and he had a lot to talk about this weekend. There was a lot from other various games, but the 4 incidents we're going to be focusing on is going to be 3 from the Liverpool-Fulham game and 1 from the Manchester derby that played out before our very eyes yesterday. Now, the Liverpool one, we're going to start off with the Issa Diop challenge. Now, I can somewhat make peace with the fact that it was a yellow card. I personally believe it was a yellow card, but I think certain decisions like that have gone as yellow cards before, so I somewhat understand. But the fact that, again, he didn't think it was only a yellow card, didn't really consider the possibility of it really being a red card for me, was baffling. It was just a strange one. I think it was a red card. I can somewhat understand the challenge of a yellow card, but if I was leaning more towards one colour than the other, it would be red rather than yellow. The second incident was the Andreas Pereira challenge. Now, of course, this was a significant one for a number of reasons. One, because it could have turned the game. The second one, because Andreas Pereira goes on to score a few mere minutes later. And Dermot Gallagher basically says he doesn't believe it was a red card. He believes the referee got it right and that Pereira's going for the ball. Now, I don't know what game he was watching. Maybe he was watching a different Andreas Pereira challenge in a different game that was also controversial maybe. But there's no attempt to play the ball from Pereira whatsoever. Gravenberch is away. Gravenberch is a million miles away from him. He turns well. He's a million miles away. and he just scrapes down the back of his heel, which could have caused serious injury. We know how weak the Achilles heel is, given its name. But it was baffling that he was like, well, he's gone for the ball. He's gone for the ball, and he's just mistimed it. So, yellow card was probably justified. Well, by that logic, surely the 99% of most challenges in which they go for the ball are all yellow cards then. Because everyone's going for the ball. No one really lashes out like that. But it's a dangerous one because the studs go right down the ankle. If we'd have lost Ryan Gravenberch, but the referee would have been like, oh, it's all right, Pereira's gone for the ball there, it's okay. How would that have been fair? Luckily, it seems Gravenberch is okay. But that's not the point, is it? Because on another occasion, he may not be. Or a player like that may not be. Baffling to me how he arrived at that decision and didn't even necessarily consider it should have been a red card, even though he said he was going for the ball, which he was a million miles away from. Coincidentally, Stephen Warnock, who also chimes in with his opinion every so often, also claimed Pereira was going for the ball. Again, how can you be going for the ball when you're a million miles away? He also claims that he is attempting to clip his heels in a sort of challenge that is, that is just to break Liverpool's counter-attack up. I've seen worse red cards given, and that one wasn't. And of course, like I say, that had big implications on the game that followed because Pereira went on to score a mere minutes later. I don't know what games those two were watching. Sue Smith, who also chimes in with her opinion, was the only one who I agreed with here. She claimed it was a red card. She said it was a nasty challenge, a naughty challenge. I don't understand what the other two were watching. I really, really don't. I don't understand it. But you get that kind of feeling that Dermot Gallagher is just there to back up the referees. He's there to back up the referees to somewhat try to justify why the referees are correct in these scenarios. And he's basically there to help his old mates out, to help his fellow professionals out. And then he throws a curveball. He likes to keep you on your toes, does good old Dermot. Throws a bit of a curveball in the next one, because in the Andy Robertson one, he claims that that's not a red card. Now, as a Liverpool fan, the tribalistic side of me wants to say, well, he's absolutely right. It's not a red card at all. But I have to be fair, I have to be honest, and I have to be neutral in this. And it was a red card. 100% it was a red card. It's a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. Robertson's terrible touch means that Wilson's got an opportunity in on goal. Robertson doesn't get there first. The Fulham player does. It's a poor challenge. It brings him down. And it stops a clear shot on goal from Harry Wilson. He justified it as, I think the referee's got it wrong. And instantly I was taken aback. I was like, whoa, you actually disagree with what a referee and what a VAR has done on this day. Wow, that is incredible in itself. But then his justification for it was just as weird. Claiming that the Liverpool defender's going to get there first. He didn't, otherwise it would have been a good challenge, which would have seen no controversy whatsoever for any sort of red card. Claims he would have got there first. Claims that Harry Wilson's not in control of the ball. It's not a clear goal-scoring opportunity. It is! It is! Howard Webb has basically gone on record and said about how clear goal-scoring opportunities are obviously what they look at in these types of scenarios. And it clearly is, because he's clearly got a route to goal. He's clearly either going to take a touch into the box to shoot, or he's going to shoot first time, one of the two. He's clearly got a route to goal. How Dermot Gallagher can say that that's not a red card is beyond me. And let me just point this out as well. In the Arsenal-Bournemouth game, in which William Saliba was judged to have brought Evan Ilson down, that's a stonewall as well. That is definite. We're not going to debate that. And it was obviously given as a yellow card into a red card. Gallagher backed the VAR decision of a red card, claiming that Ben White was not going to cover, claiming there was no covering defender, Not like there was a covering defender for Liverpool. Van Dijk was ahead of the ball. How can it be one rule for one rule for the other? So there you go, Arsenal fans. I have backed you on that one. It does seem very strange to me that he would argue against one and go all in for the other one in a slightly similar but also slightly different scenario, in which obviously the Saliba one is further back. It's nearer the halfway line than the Andy Robertson one. The Andy Robertson one, he's basically on the cusp of his own edge of the penalty area. So, yeah, I kind of feel like Dermot Gallagher has got no idea what he's talking about in this one. And when he actually does prove to have a difference of opinion towards the referees and VAR, it's just there to just be thrown out to cause a talking point, I believe. It's absolutely mad that the one time he actually disagrees, he's still wrong. He is still wrong. Alright, so Dermot Gallagher is 0 for 3. Surely he can make up for it. Surely he can make up for it by talking about the incident that occurred in the Manchester derby between Manchester City and Manchester United. Rasmus Højlund going through on goal, trying to obviously explode his way past Ruben Diaz, only for Ruben Diaz to make the most awkwardest of challenges, gets nowhere near the ball and trips up Højlund. No penalty was given. No VAR overturn was interfered with. It was baffling to me. It was baffling watching it in real time. It was baffling watching the replay as to how the referee arrived at that decision, why the VAR did not interfere. And then, the justification from Dermot Gallagher to come out on Ref Watch and say, Højlund's looking for it. Højlund's looking for that penalty. It's not a clear and obvious thing for me. It's not a stone wall. It's Højlund looking for that penalty, and he somewhat throws himself to the ground. Words to that effect. How can you arrive at such a stupid justification and decision like that? From everybody involved, from referee to VAR to then ex-Premier League referee who is meant to be the expert in this scenario, Dermot freaking Gallagher. How? It's as stonewall of a penalty as you're ever going to see. Now, of course, a lot of people might sweep it under the carpet because United went on to win yesterday and they'll think, oh, well, it doesn't really matter. Oh, believe me, it does. It does. It's not been a fantastic or great week at all for the PGMOL, their referees and VAR yet again, as once again, VAR is overshadowing what was an incredible round of football this past weekend. But Jesus Christ, how can you look at that stonewall penalty and say he's looking for it? He makes the most awkwardest of challenges. He gets nowhere near the ball. He catches Højlund on, I think it's like the knee or the shin or something, basically wraps his leg around him to trip him up, and your first thought as a referee is it's not a penalty, or an ex-Premier League referee should I say, it's not a penalty. Højlund's looking for it. It's a bit of a dive. Are you absolutely insane? How can you be so wrong? Not just on that occasion, but on all 4 of the occasions that I brought. And there probably was much more that he was actually wrong about throughout the course of that entire segment of the show. And I don't understand it at all. I don't get it at all. I don't get how he's so wrong. And again, apart from the sort of minor challenges that you get from the host, the minor challenges you get from the guests in the studio at the time, this time it was Sue Smith and Stephen Warnock. Why did they let this guy talk? Why? He is a mouthpiece for the PGMOL that either says things that go against the referees to create some sort of talking point that he's still wrong with, or to just point blank agree with them. Because he never throws in his own opinion. He never throws in, well, if I was still refereeing, this is what I would have done. He doesn't throw that kind of stuff in, even though he's meant to as the expert, as the person with the knowledge, with the person with experience. He doesn't do that. Instead, he just goes, well, the referee's got it right, end of. What is the point of this show? What is the point of him? I go back to my original point. Dermot Gallagher is absolutely useless. How you cannot see that the Manchester derby situation is a Stonewall penalty is beyond me. How you can't see that at least one, if not both, of Issa Diop and Andreas Pereira's fouls or red cards is beyond me. And how you can't see that Andy Robertson's red card against Fulham was justified and warranted is simply put, beyond me. On all 4 of these counts, he is wrong. He's had a stinker. He's had a shocker. He is appalling. He's abysmal. Why the hell is he on our screens? I don't understand what the point of this guy is. Absolutely useless in my opinion. Completely pointless show. Completely pointless everything. But we did obviously need to speak on it because, again, I've been trying as consistently as possible to talk about VAR and refereeing decisions for the course of however long I've been doing this now, as consistently and as thoroughly as I can. And these 4 decisions were obviously the major ones of the weekend. There was probably some more. I think there was one in the Crystal Palace Brighton game, for example, that I think they talked about, but I've kind of brushed over it a little bit here. So I do apologise for that. But at the same time, these were 4 major ones that obviously affected a lot about this weekend's results and everything. It needed to be talked about. It needed to be discussed. And the fact that this guy has his own platform, has his own space in which to talk about these things and still get it wrong time and time again without the usage of any sort of real insight, real information, or just flat out knowledge and common sense is absolutely appalling to me. That Sky still hire this guy, still want this guy in their studio to talk about these kinds of situations. I don't get it. I don't get it in the slightest. I don't get it at all. It is baffling to me. But there you go. There's some thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this situation? These situations that were seen as controversial moments over the course of the weekend. What do you make of the Liverpool incidents against Fulham? What do you make of the Manchester derby incident with the Rasmus Højlund penalty? Am I right in this? Or do you actually agree with Dermot Gallagher in any of these situations? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down below in that comment section. Would love to hear from you all and what you have to say on this particular scenarios. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved, like I say, in the comment section. Would love to hear from you all. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you all as well for your continued or even brand new support. If you are brand new, welcome along to the channel. Hope you are doing okay. Thank you all for your support. It really does mean a great deal to me. Will always be appreciated. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for that. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you again very, very soon.